Sadistic Penguin Studios presents It's Getting Drafty in Here.
Drafty old farm.
The show of drafting random nonsense.
I choose business ethics.
And now, coming to you from his basement, a.k.a. Draft Headquarters, your host and draft master, Magnificent Stan.
Hello, welcome to episode 63 of It's Getting Drafty in Here. I'm your host, Magnificent Stan. Today is Tuesday, January 7th, 2025. This is our first episode of 2025. And today we're going to be diving back into the squared circle of professional wrestling. Joining me today are our buddies Shankster's back for another one. What's going on, buddy?
Not too much, man. Thanks for having me back. Love doing these with you.
Right on. Always. I think this is going to be our regular wrestling group. I do have another wrestling one I'm working on with other people, though. Don't get offended.
Oh.
See how it is.
Trigger.
Oh, no. Also joining us from Chicago Sports Bums, we got Dougie Fresh. What's going on?
What's going on, brother? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm tired.
Yeah,
I'm old and tired.
I'm telling you, dude. I was outside all day today.
You work with fucking children?
Dude, my Audi is an innie right now. I'm just trying to thaw out a little bit here.
Right on. Well, hopefully that works. I got my portable fireplace on right now, and that's helping me.
Oh, look at you!
Tremendous amount. Yep. Let's put some Barry White on in the background. Also from the Chicago Sports Bums, we got Joey P back. What's going on, Joey?
What's going on, bros? How y'all doing?
Very, very good. Very, very good. Very, very ready to draft here. I've been off for a few weeks, so it's been nice to get away from it for a couple weeks, but ready to get back to it. So today again we're going to be doing a wrestling episode. These are going to be wrestlers that never won a world heavyweight championship, and we restricted it to the WWF/WWE. NWA, 80s, early 90s, WCW, as well as AEW. So yeah, anybody who hasn't won any world title at any of those levels, we're going to be drafting today. We also do have categories. So there's 4 categories. We did it as kind of like a chronological order. So we have the pre-boom, which is like before the Hogan era. So like the 70s into like the mid 80s, 84-ish. Then we have the cartoon era, which is basically the Hulk Hogan, WrestleMania, Rock and Wrestling, MTV, whatever area you want to call it. That's the mid 80s until the early 90s. Then we have the Monday Night Wars when things got a little more aggressive, more attitude, more realistic. I don't know what you want to say. So that'll be 93 to 99, and then we have modern era wrestling, which is basically anything after 2000. So that's what we have. I have the first pick. I won the lottery in a rare scenario. Now, I have a question for the three of you, if you guys are going to accept this or not. I want to do my pre-boom guy, and I want to pick Andre the Giant. Is that Saturday Night Main Event title switch an actual title hold?
I am going to veto this only on the basis of you let Jason pick Adechetta. So this is Adechetta's revenge. I am vetoing you.
Okay. Joey?
This is a very, very hard one for me, brother, because I was going to wear my Andre the Giant Fightful shirt on tonight. But, I'm the nice guy, I think, of the group, I was told. So I will allow this. So, okay. John Shankster, it's up to you, bro.
We got Shankster's the deciding vote here. Is he here?
He's thinking.
He's contemplating. His connections.
I don't know if it's recognized, but I'm good with it.
You're good with me taking Andre?
Yeah, I'm fine with it too. I just wanted to mess with you. Yeah.
So for people who aren't historical wrestling fans, and Shankster had to drop out, he's probably just going to connect back in. Andre the Giant beat Hulk Hogan on a Saturday Night Main Event for the title, but it wasn't a actual WWE referee. It was rather his twin brother, his evil twin. It was Earl Hebner, evil twin of Dave Hebner, and they stripped Andre of the title because he tried to give it to the $1 Million Man. So I'm gonna take pre-boom. Nobody was bigger than Andre the Giant.
Nobody was.
In stature as well as just in general. He was the biggest draw. The only reason he never really got a world title is because before that Hogan era, during the Hogan era, he was kind of just starting to fall apart. His hips were bad, his knees were bad, his back was bad. The gigantism just took over. But yeah, Andre the Giant was the biggest draw in the business, and the only reason he never got that title is because he was moving from territory to territory to territory.
Yeah,
he was a mover and a shaker. He went wherever anybody gave him the money, and that's what happened. So I'm gonna go Andre the Giant. I think he's probably one of the 2 or 3 most famous wrestlers in the history of the world, and yeah. So,
yeah. I mean, we can basically just call it like it is. He was a sideshow.
The eighth wonder of the world.
Yeah, he was one of the biggest sideshows in wrestling, and every territory wanted a little piece of him.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, he would go anywhere too. Like he would go up and work in Stampede. Obviously, he did a lot of stuff in Japan. Worked in Mexico with Mil Mascaris and all those guys. But he was all over the place, and he loved every minute. I mean, he loved everything that had to do with it, except for flying to Japan.
I was gonna say the traveling.
Yeah, and shitting in garbage bags because he didn't fit in the bathroom. So,
yeah.
Yumper reminding us that Dave Hebner was evil for selling merchandise.
Yeah.
Got caught.
All right. So Andre the Giant it is. 1-1. Joey P, what do we got?
The pre-boom for me being an 80s baby was kind of hard.
Now keep in mind real quick, I want to remind you guys, you do not have to pick pre-boom in this first round. You could pick any category.
Correct. And that's why.
Okay. I just want to make sure you guys know.
Yep. Appreciate that. And that's why I'm going to leave this one as, strategically bad for me to tell you. I'm going to leave this category for last because
I don't blame you.
It was the roughest since you just stole my guy right there at 1-1.
I only had 2 or 3 in mind, so
I was going to ask for permission for Andre. But anyways, I see how it is. Let's go. We got to go with going with Monday Night War. And I just got to say something to you 3 and everyone watching.
Don't do it.
Hey, yo.
Fuck! Damn, that's a good one. That was
my 1-1.
That was my 1-1.
Not my 1-1, but definitely on my
for
list.
sure.
And he could have gone in either of those eras because cartoon era is when he started to ascend.
Scott Hall. Big Scott Hall.
Well, I mean, Razor Ramon was still, like he came in, 92?
I think
92, 93. Yeah.
So we could have technically done that, but and then Scott Hall, obviously, in AWA. But if you look at side-by-side picture of AWA Scott Hall and, like, Razor Ramon, it's hilarious because he was like a roided out freak.
Yes.
With he had like a perm and a mustache and they tried to make him look like
honestly,
Magnum TA a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think I initially realized that was the same guy from AWA that was Razor Ramon.
Like Steve Regal.
Diamond stud.
Don't forget the diamond stud in between his transition.
Yeah, that's how he met DDP.
Yep.
Yeah. That's how he met Nash. Him and Nash, when Nash was Vinny Vegas, they used to team a lot.
And before Nash was Vinny Vegas, he was Oz.
He was also the Master Blaster.
Yeah. And Super Shredder.
And Super
Kevin
Shredder
Kevin Nash had more fucking gimmicks in early WCW than anybody, man. That was wild. It's like, I wonder if he was Arachnaman for a little while. Worst gimmick ever right there.
Obviously, I had to take Scott Hall, guys. I mean, he, as you all just read off all the names, his illustrious career, life unfortunately cut too short. But, like he said, legends never died. They'll live forever. So somewhere along those lines. He said it better than me. I'm tired. I'm sorry.
What did he say?
Bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
But bad guys do.
There you go. I knew it was something beautiful
such a
like
good,
that. such a poet.
Yeah, no, that's a
Yeah,
solid one. I knew that one would be gone by, like I said, when I had my top kind of 3 picked out, I figured he would be 1-1 from any of you 3.
You know what's even funny is he never really had a main event feud. I mean, he had a brief thing with Bret Hart, and they wrestled at Royal Rumble that year. That was 93, I want to say. 92 even? I don't even know. Or no, they wrestled at Royal Rumble. That's when he beat up Owen Hart. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Did he have one little one with or did he just? I know he cost Savage the title like against when Flair won it back or somewhere in there. Did he have something with that back with Macho Man right before that Survivor Series?
Him and Flair fought. Yeah, him and Flair fought Savage, and it was supposed to be the Warrior, and then they moved it over to Mr. Perfect because they couldn't trust the Warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and then he won. Yeah, at one point he did win World War III in WCW and got a world title shot at Sting, but he never really got a chance to run. You know.
Yeah.
If the substance problems hadn't been there, I wonder if they would have ever given him, because I don't know if they could have trusted him.
Reliability was probably a big issue.
Yeah. Had he stayed in the WWE, I would have loved to seen him run back like a Shawn Michaels Razor Ramon heel, like run that whole thing back, you know, from the IC days, run it back as a world title match. That would be tits.
Would he have been in DX? Fantasy book for me.
Yeah. DX when it existed, probably though. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then it would have been more of a, you know.
You probably would have had to drop the Razor gimmick, I would have thought.
It would have been more of a click. Yeah, I mean, obviously the click. So it would have been some extension of the click.
I think if he is in DX and it like goes longer, I think X-Pac never makes it there, because I think it would be like too many long-haired guys. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but
to me it felt like Razor, that when Razor left for WCW, they were like, yeah, that's fine. Like they had already kind of like started to run him down. They had him lose to Vader. They had him lose to, you know, but Nash pissed them off, because I think they knew Nash could have gone even further than where they had him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's an excellent pick. That's definitely at the top of everybody's lists. Yeah. All right, Dougie.
All right. I gotta go with the cartoon era.
Good point number.
Yeah, I've got to go Mr. Perfect. Kurt Hennig.
That was my second one.
Yeah. I mean, just not only the talent that he was in the ring, but like, you know, he was a perfectionist in real life too. You know, I mean, just some of the gimmicks that he would do, and you know, stuff like that. It just amazing matches, and you know, you always knew the match was about to get crazy as soon as he took off the shoulders, you know, and he started going at it. So, you know, I mean, I remember going to like a house show and watching him, you know, spit his gum up in the air and just, you know, do that whole smack it, and you know, just
I always love when he threw the towel, and Bobby Heenan always fucking caught it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do the pen trick for you guys when he was on commentary. I just can't. I'm not that skilled. Something like this, and
McAfee kind of does that now.
Yeah, I think he picked it up.
He kind of flips up and catches it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever hear the Wade Boggs story?
I'm not sure I have.
I may have heard it back in the day, but I've already forgotten.
So they were hunting buddies.
Okay.
And they were out hunting one day, and Boggs, I don't know if he tripped or what, but he fell into a barbed wire fence.
Oh.
And it cut his leg up, and it hit an artery. So he's like literally bleeding out. Kurt Hennig picked him up, carried him like 3 miles, got him to the car, got him to the hospital, saved his life.
Wow.
Yeah, if you look it up online, like Wade Boggs will tell the story, and every time he's just waterworks. Like it was like his best friend.
Wasn't Wade in one of
Boggs
the
is a maniac.
He in one of the vignettes that Perfect did that whole
Yep.
series?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. My favorite was still Randall Cunningham. Or was it Cunningham or was it Moon? Can't remember.
I think it was
Cunningham, where he threw the football and he
to himself.
Wait, was it Rodney Pete?
Well, who was it? I can't remember.
I don't think it was Cunningham.
I don't think it was Cunningham. I don't remember who it was.
I think it was Rodney Pete.
Look that up.
Houston legend Rodney Pete.
Now that's perfect.
I thought it was the Vikings.
Maybe because he's a big Minnesota guy, even though he's on the West Texas Rednecks.
Right. But yeah, they said some of those vignettes or whatever, like it'd be like a take or two. Like, I mean, obviously the football one was fake, but like the basketball throwing it behind the thing, like I guess he did that in like a take or two. And
the pool one was like a first take.
Yeah.
Steve Jordan.
I don't know who that is.
That's who.
Yeah, I don't.
That was who was in the. I'm looking it up right now. Steve Jordan is who was in that with him.
Wow.
Alrighty then.
No idea, but that's who played for the Vikings. So that's who's in it.
You get the Vikings.
Yeah,
and there's some of those you like.
Even
listen to like Bruce Pritchard's story, but Pritchard knows about how he was doing it like just on command, like before the cameras roll, and then when the cameras went on, he couldn't hit a bullseye or something, or it was just. And he thinks maybe he was just fucking with them too, just to because he was hitting it all, and then as soon as the cameras rolled, he's like he couldn't hit nothing.
He was a hell of a talent. He was one of those guys that like Macho Man with the WWF, they did not want either of them to leave, but they didn't want to give him any matches. They wanted him to be in commentary, they wanted him to do side stuff.
Yeah.
I think Vince McMahon probably had ideas for him to be like part of creative at some point, maybe. I don't know, but I know Savage was.
Yeah.
But yeah, then he went to WCW and he had a good run there. I mean, he had a run with Flair. He did the fucking perfect play to the Giant. I don't know if you guys have seen that. That was nuts. Like he was a freak, man. Yeah.
Yeah. He was a big victim of NWO as well. Like I feel like there was so many like really good talents that like just got washed in the whole like NWO thing.
Yeah, and they put him with Rick Rude, which like that was big for both of them because they were like best friends, but I don't think it did either of them favors at all. It was bad. You're seeing the same thing with AEW right now, where you just have too many fucking guys on the roster. Like there's just too much going on. Like
Yep.
All right, Shankster, you got two here, bud.
So I'm trying to figure out where to put this one because he could go in either one. So I think I maybe just do the God. I don't know. You tell me because I think the other one I need. I'll put him in the Monday Night War era, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people will say he never needed the belt, but Piper.
Well, I would have gone cartoon era, but I guess it doesn't matter. It depends on what your next pick is, because
and you'll see why I needed to go.
He had that run with Hogan with a really weird music video.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go Piper there.
I'm your man, or what was it?
Did I send that to you or something? Yeah, but no, it's my next pick. I think I needed it for the cartoon era, but no, I mean, and I know everybody always says Piper never needed the belt, but without Piper, Hulkamania isn't what it is. You need for every face, you need a heel. And Piper was a perfect heel.
He needed to knock down Cyndi Lauper. Once that happened, it was on. Yeah,
and it was just you were talking about like just absolute nuclear heat. That guy had it. He could just, back in that day when there really wasn't, you had guys unless it's like an Iron Sheik or a Russian, nobody had that kind of heat, and Piper could just generate that everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, those
100%.
Piper's pits.
They were
snooker with the coconuts, but it's funny because most of us, I mean, Dougie, Joey, you guys are what, late 30s, early 40s?
38.
43. 43.
Okay. Oh, you are my age then. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, a lot of people just remember Piper as a babyface.
Hmm.
Yeah. Because I mean, when did he turn 87? He
87,
never really
right
went back
before
to being a
Mr.
heel
3.
again.
Yeah.
He never went back
Yeah,
to being a
those
heel
late
again.
run, you know. But he had
Yeah.
that last run he had. You know, he really didn't wrestle much, but then when he was with
Sean O'Hare and all that.
Yeah, when
There's
he came back in the
there's
Tim
another
Hortons-
guy. That guy was unbelievable, but he was a fuck up.
Yeah. Jindrak too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all those power plant guys could have gone places, but they didn't have the tools, and they didn't have the upbringing. They didn't earn their dues, honestly. Like, that's probably the biggest thing, is they didn't really
Did you ever see those videos of Evolution with Jindrak instead of Batista?
Yeah.
Yep. That shit's hilarious.
Yeah.
They thought he was going to be. Well, he went to Japan and became a pretty big star. So
It was just they said that Orton and him were just two fuck ups when they were together. They were like 22 years old.
Orton was a fuck up for a long time, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on. Well, what's your next one, pal?
All right. So I'm gonna do the cartoon era, and before I make this pick, I'm gonna need all of you fat, ugly, out of shape Cincinnati sweat hogs to keep it down. Here we go, Rick Rude. So I didn't think he wrestled in the 93 to 99 era, so that's why I went back with.
Oh
Piper.
yeah, Sting. I think the Sting thing happened in like 92, so that makes sense.
So that's why I wanted to go that route with Rude there. And shit, I should have picked somebody else, but I just thought of. But either way,
this is one thing I wanted to bring up real quick.
You won the international title. That's what it was.
Is that a world title though?
That's
I don't
a world
know.
title. That's fine.
I don't even know about that. I don't even like.
That's
I know what
I
they did
had
was,
it on the back of my head, but I wasn't sure if that was the title. So if that's a heavyweight title, that's fine. I got another one.
No, because they were
It's international. It wasn't recognized
okay.
as NWA then.
Yeah, I mean, it was NWA transitioning to WCW, and they added that world title, that WCW world title belt. So the old world title belt went to become the inner. I'm fine with it. Like, Rick Rude is probably the best heel in the history of the business, in my opinion. So fuck you, MJF. Rick Rude was better.
I mean, in this tight game, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This tight game. I mean, whether you hated him, you know, like as a kid, I absolutely hated him. But some of the craziest tights, man. Like, I remember him versus Warrior was a crazy pair.
That whole feud was unbelievable.
Oh.
He made the Warrior look like $1 million,
Yep.
and it was probably
second
because
match.
if the Warrior had fucked up, Rick Rude would have fucking killed him. So because Rick Rude was nuts.
Was it the SummerSlam like 90, 91 heavyweight match that they had at SummerSlam?
Yeah, they main evented.
That was really good. But yeah, Warrior never looked better.
They had
than
a
he did
cage
against Rude.
match.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like the only guy to go over Warrior in the WWF. He because Heenan pulled the leg, remember?
Yep.
That was like one of the biggest miscues that they had was, I mean, he was already on his way out, I think, at that point, but given Slaughter the belt,
Yeah.
instead of him, it was I'm wondering. I think maybe he was already working at WCW at that point. I can't remember exactly, but maybe not actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, but yeah, that was a mistake. They should have had him beat. They put their eggs in the Iraq War basket a little too much at that point.
Just that's what worked. Go with the foreign heel.
Papa Shango made him spit out pea soup.
The black shit from his head.
Yeah, that the shit's coming down his hair. Yeah,
he wore his Warrior jacket for no apparent reason.
I can't wait for us to do a best promo.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
I'm gonna read those promos for you guys as you draft them. I may actually bring on a fifth person, and I may not draft. I'll just narrate the fucking promos for you guys.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, it would be.
You hear me yelling, "Crash the plane!" Come on. That was always like one of my content ideas for the 108 tournament at one point, is I was going to dress up like the Ultimate Warrior and cut a promo.
Dude, I'm going to draft Steiner Math just to watch you cut that.
Just the one, yeah.
That was great.
Baloney, 100%.
That's my line.
It's really. He's throwing his shoe at him.
Close your eyes and try to just tell who's who, which one's Lethal and which one's Flair.
It's hard. You can't tell.
Black Machismo was another great gimmick.
Yeah. Jay Lethal is a tremendously talented dude. I'm surprised they haven't done anything like that in AEW. Maybe he just doesn't want to like do the impressions anymore.
Yeah.
I know that both Savage and Lanny Poffo okayed him to use anything Macho Man related. So, but all right, Dougie, what do we got?
Oh man, I'm torn here. I am torn between Modern Era and Monday Night War, but I feel like I need to get this one on my list. So I'm going to go Monday Night War, and I'm going to go Owen Hart. I think Owen Hart would have had a phenomenal run had he been used correctly. Obviously, sad way that his career ended, but it was also a sad way of how he went out as a character. Like, he went out as the Blue Blazer, which
Criminal.
it was just so bad. You know, like they just, I don't know. I mean, and
I think the optics are worse than what it actually was, though. Like, I think they probably had an idea for him with that. Otherwise, Owen would have told them to go fuck themselves.
I'm sure that they did. And I mean, if you go back and look at those matches, I mean, he's still Owen Hart, true to form, like, you know, good stuff. But
you're a monster, Peter.
Holy shit.
Bean Cibaloni. Bean Cibaloni.
Yeah. Owen Hart played Sting and it didn't go well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
God damn.
But yeah.
Here.
But yes. No, I mean, those earlier matches with like Bret Hart at WrestleMania and everything like that, you know, for them
he went with anybody. He went with anybody.
He really did. He really
anybody.
did.
He was big. He was big enough to go with anybody big, but he was fast and agile as well as anybody in the business. So yeah.
Owen 316.
Just broke your neck. So what do you think it was though? Like why? Why did it happen? Or why didn't it happen? Like what do you I mean do you guys think? I mean, I don't disagree with you at all. I mean, he was he should have been, but I just curious what you guys' thought was.
I don't know. I think they would have given him the belt at some point if he just stuck around. But I don't know if he was going to stick around. Brett always talked about how Owen wanted to become a firefighter, and he was going to step out at some point. So probably just making enough money for make sure his family's safe and healthy and do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I think it was too much creative for me. I truly believe that they saw him as a guy that was really good at getting people over and making them look good. That they were, I don't want to say afraid to give him the belt, but like they were afraid that like all those people that he made look good no longer would look good in a sense. So,
yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think he just got lost in the shuffle too. I mean, they just had he was with. I mean, he was with the company for a long time. He was what WrestleMania 6, I think, was his first. He was the Blue Blazer, and I think it was 6. Yeah, something like that. He fought Perfect, I think.
Yeah, he got lost in the DX cycle. You know, like when the Nugget. You know, when they were doing that whole bit.
I am not a Nugget.
Yeah,
that one guy that could do the perfect impersonation of him.
Yeah, Jason Sensation.
Yeah.
Jason Sensation. Yeah,
yeah,
Canadian legend.
Yeah.
I'm gonna slap the piss out. And he walked right over, right on commentary side. I just saw that clip the other day, getting ready for this.
Well, he's like, "What am I, an aardvark?" Oh man! All right, Joey.
It's my turn. Well,
yes, sir.
Cartoon era is the route I'm going, and you guys took my 1 and 2. Well, the other cartoon character hero of mine growing up in the 80s that hasn't been selected yet is someone who used to give some of the most deep, intense promos looking right into the camera and sometimes would say, "Trust me." And you trusted him, and then his pet snake Damien bit the shit out you. So I'm going with Jake the Snake Roberts.
There you go.
I am kind of shocked he's still on the board at this point, but you guys. But I mean, again, looking at the board though, like it's been a kind of pretty perfect draft actually. Yeah.
Again, no reason he shouldn't. I mean, if he was around 10 years later, if he was in his prime in that Attitude Era, like 97, 98, he'd have been a champ.
Yeah.
Just the promos he could cut.
Yeah.
They wanted to put the title on him in the 80s, and Hogan said no.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to believe his stories, but still, you know.
Right.
I'll believe Jake before I believe Hogan.
It depends on when the interview was shot.
We talking Jake on crack or Jake now?
Yeah, right.
Heroin Jake or crack Jake?
Yeah.
It's like the three faces of Foley, three faces of Jake.
Yeah.
But no, that guy was great.
Yeah, if you watch like Beyond the Mat, Brian?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That flick that kind of went in depth some of their stories and whatnot. He had obviously a hell of a upbringing the way he came up in life.
Oh God,
That's
the
awful.
dark side. Yeah, the dark side of the ring about
Dark
Grizzly
side of the ring.
Smith. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's so fucked up. His whole upbringing was very,
His old
very
man's
fucked up.
his old man from rotten
Piece
hell.
of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of what he did was cinematic in a way with his promos, and he was just I never thought that he was growing up like the greatest wrestler when I actually enjoyed wrestling for actual athleticism as I got into my early teenage years in the early 90s. But when I go back and I watch his old stuff, he was just so smooth in the ring. He didn't have to be like this athletic,
Right.
cartwheel type Bam Bam Bigelow guy going, in the ring.
Yeah.
But he was just so smooth when he hit that short arm clothesline, and obviously the creator of the DDT. So,
well, yeah, and like some of the moves he would do were so like simple too. Like he would do like a that's where the guy jumps over the guy. Jesus Christ. WrestleMania 2 when he's wrestling George Wells, he does a monkey flip or something, and it looks so ridiculous. You're just like, this guy's a professional this guy's an athlete. Like what?
I remember. I think it's if you want like first memory of mine that would stick out from him is I'm sure I watched him wrestle, but it was the Saturday Night's Main Event with when he DDT'd Steamboat on the concrete floor.
That was 100% Steamboat's fault.
Because he said he could get his hands up, and Jake told him no. And he's like, "I'll get my hands up," and he didn't. He was just picking him up. And he was dead weight.
Yeah.
But it
was scary. It was scary watching him try to pick him up, and he's just not.
Yeah.
There's nothing there,
Yeah, you watch it back, you can probably hear his head hit the cement.
That was a hell of a theme song. You're correct.
Yeah. I also hate that they like really dumbed down his finisher. You know what I'm saying? Like a DDT, like is now just like a total side, thing or whatever.
Sean, I mean, the super kick's that way now. I mean, you just
no, you're right. You're right.
It's a lot of that stuff is you look at anybody leg drops unless it's Hogan is just a spot anymore.
Right.
It's just that's what like you said, but. It's like his DDT was better. I mean, was probably, Arn Anderson had a good one, but Jake's was the best.
Yeah.
The way he delivered it.
Yeah, 100%. The Arn's was great, though. You're right about that.
Yeah.
All right. Good pick. You guys, that's like my 1, 2, 3 in both of those categories. So, all right. I see you guys, the cartoon era, heel. I'm going to go babyface here. It's the one guy that I think could have eclipsed Hogan if he wasn't such a drug addict, and that was the Junkyard Dog.
Solid pick.
Yeah.
That dude could have gotten whatever he wanted in the business, whatever he wanted. He would go to the ring and do that dance on the ropes, and everybody go freaking nuts. All the kids would run on the ring after the match and dance with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
if you ever
I
saw
went to
like
see-
his Mid-South stuff, that guy could work too.
He was like
They
their
dumbed
biggest
him
star.
down.
Yeah, he was.
He was him and DiBiase were just mega stars in Mid-South. And Duggan. Jim Duggan. Duggan and Junkyard Dog are pretty good examples of like WWF-ification of your actual abilities, because those two could actually wrestle very well, but they did that to Hogan too. You ever watch Hogan in Japan, like doing all these
Drop
weird
toe
like
holds and
like he's doing like weird submissions and shit. You're like, where did he learn how to do that? But yeah, they had like 3 moves and you're done. Like that's what they did to Junkyard Dog. But yeah, I mean, again, he's like Hall. If he hadn't had his problems, he probably would have. He went to WCW, but he was 100. He was like 100 pounds overweight and putting everything up his nose at that point. But he could have been. They made him the main event guy for a couple of shows, and he just wasn't there anymore.
Well, they had him win that. Didn't he win the Wrestling Classic, or did he lose that? No, he beat Savage.
No, he won it.
Right?
Yeah, he beat Savage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was. I mean, there's a Saturday Night Main Event where they tag. It's him and Hogan tagging against the Funks. And no, no, but they take Dory Funk Jr., who's one of the greatest traditional wrestlers ever, and they call him fucking Hoss. I don't know why they did that. Anyway, you could see the crowd giving a bigger reaction to the Junkyard Dog than Hogan. So I don't think he did himself any favors by letting that happen either. So
yeah,
unfortunately.
So speaking of theme songs that were good too.
Grab them cakes, baby.
Yeah.
I almost took Coco Beware just so I could sing the Bird 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 song. Or Pile Driver.
Pile Driver, yeah.
I'm gonna close out my next pick, Monday Night War. Might not be the sexiest pick, but the guy worked his ass off. They gave him gimmicks that probably shouldn't have worked, but they did work. I'm going Dustin Rhodes.
Okay.
Good pick.
The fact that guy never won a world title in all of these fucking years is tragic. He was a rising star in WCW, and then they started signing up all the old guys from the WWF, and he got shuffled behind.
Was it WWF or WCW that they wanted Hogan to wrestle him, and Hogan said no?
I don't know about that one. I never heard that one. But I mean, the fact that he took Gold Dust and he really, really immersed himself with the character to the point where he was a top star of that company. He was an Intercontinental Champion, feuded with Undertaker, and he's still going. It's 7, yeah. And Yumper, that was my second suggested pick for Monday Night War. Is I was going to take Raven, but I took Dustin because I think, he's still going. He just signed another contract.
It's unbelievable. If his bags underneath his eyes get any bigger.
He's one of those guys that proves that DDP yoga works really well, because he worked on his body. He lost like probably 50, 60 pounds at least.
Yeah. And
he's doing Canadian destroyers. What the fuck? Like he's like 60 years old. He's been he wrestled in 87.
Baloney said WWF. Everybody does a Canadian destroyer now.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah. But yeah, like the Natural in WCW, that was a star, man. That guy could have carried that company, that Southern business. He could have been a superstar.
Became the U.S. champion and was working his way up.
That's like one of my favorite eras of wrestling, is that early 90s WCW. The amount of fucking talent they had was unbelievable.
Was that when he got fired from the?
Yeah. No, that was after Hogan came. That was like mid 90s. The
Blacktop Bully, the match on the truck where they weren't supposed to bleed and they did.
Yep. They weren't supposed to cut and they both cut.
Yeah.
Blacktop Bully, that was Smash, right?
Yeah.
Demolition.
Fucking Barry Darso. They gave Barry Darso like 37 gimmicks in WCW. He was like a golfer for a while. And, yeah. Good old Crusher Khrushchev. Another guy from Minnesota. They made a Russian like Nikita Koloff. All right, Joey.
Okay, this is going to be tough for me. If I go pre-boom and knock it out right now, I do have a very short list here. I think I'm going to have to go with pre-boom here because the list is much more expansive for me on modern era, and I'm trying to win this thing. Okay.
All right.
Try to win this thing.
Got to hear my name. No. So, can I see your T-shirt again, Brian?
Oh, really? This guy's going Bruiser Brody? Hell yeah.
Bruiser was number 2 on my list because number 1 was Andre. But yeah, I'll still go with Bruiser number 2 because even though he made his rounds in Japan and had the phenomenal career that he did, brief stint in WWF it was from when I did a little bit of homework.
And Wendy and World Class as well.
World Class as well. He was gone well before his time. Yeah. And who knows what could have come from him still being around. And yeah, sad what happened to him, but what he did, and if you're able to watch his old clips, Dark Side of the Ring obviously tells the whole story there. If you want to go back and watch that, he was awesome, well ahead of his time. That
Dark Side of the Ring is fucked up, man.
It is.
I still don't know what to believe out of Tony Atlas's mouth, though.
If you watch the Vince doc, he's got things to say about Pat Patterson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True
too.
No, Yumper, the Berserker stole that gimmick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he stole something.
Fucking John Nord.
I just don't have a chain I could be whipping around here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Bruiser was a lot like Andre. Just there was too much money to be made by just flirting around.
Yeah.
He went to Japan. Him and Stan Hansen in Japan just fucking dominate. For years and years and years. And Terry Funk mixed in. Like Japan was just run by like the good old boys. But yeah, another guy. What was he? 30? He was like 35 when he died.
Yeah.
I know that at one point he talked to the WWF about coming in to be a Hogan villain at some point, but I don't think he liked Hogan too much, so I don't think he wanted to do it. Like he was one of those guys, like
right.
He only wants to work with people that he doesn't hate.
Yeah, pride's more of a
yeah, but Hogan probably wouldn't do the job either.
Well, no, Hogan's not going to job to him. All those guys came in to lose. I mean, that's what it's all about. But his stuff with Abdullah the Butcher, like those guys killed each other, man. They were scaring the shit out of people too. In Japan, they were running through the crowd, like people are running for their lives from these guys. It's like they were in a fucking monster movie.
Yeah.
Don't let Abdullah bleed on you.
Nope.
Not a good idea.
No, not at all.
Be a lawsuit. All right, Dougie.
All right. I am going to go pre-boom, just because I can't afford to let Shankster steal one from me. I am going to go the Dynamite Kid. He is kind of like a staple. I feel like he gets brought up every draft podcast that we talk about, and I feel like he was a good worker and he deserves it.
Problem was, I think with him is just the size. I mean, don't be wrong, he was built, but he was just short.
Yeah,
and that
he was a prick too. That didn't help.
I'm also saying he's an absolute asshole, but true, yeah. But just the size of him back then wasn't, not in WWF anyway at that time.
Right.
You were going to be, but no, I mean, the talent was fucking unbelievable.
Yeah,
but it's also like Brian's a prick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad what it's sad what happens to these guys' bodies though, man. Like all these guys I hate to say it, but like when the guys we're watching now get older, like they go so hard nowadays. Like there's gonna be a lot of wheelchairs lined up, man. Like if you don't think Darby Allin's gonna be in a wheelchair when he's fucking 60, if he's still alive, he'll be, or 50 even. But yeah, I love Dynamite Kid. The snap suplex was like the coolest fucking move ever to me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like there was such fluidity to it. And anybody that didn't get to see him, just watch a Chris Benoit match. They're basically the same fucking wrestler.
It is. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Yep. Or even Ray Stevens. If you're that old. But all right, Shankster, you got 2 here to close your draft out.
All right. So I think this would count in the pre-boom. So I don't know. Again, I'm going to go because I think this is probably the greatest what if. Because if he hadn't gotten hurt, he still would have been late 30s come Attitude Era, 99. That area is Magnum TA.
Yep. He's on my list for sure.
Is that, it's just the best what if, like I said, I was thinking, I guess always thought of him as being older, but he was, 26 when he got in that accident?
The accident happened in 86. He was at his peak. So technically his peak was cartoon era, but he was still a pretty damn big star. He had that run with Tully in like 83.
Yeah. And he was
outstanding. Yeah.
And it's just, I think, like I said, because I guess I was watching that and it was like, God, he could have been like late 30s doing 98, 99, that era with WWE or WCW at that point.
He probably would have been like, he probably would have been as big a star as Sting.
Yeah.
Because they were basically the same age.
Yeah, they were parallel coming up, if I remember.
And then just, they were grooming TA to win the NWA title from Flair, and.
Yeah, he was basically taking over Dusty's spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that's when they gave it to Barry, didn't they?
No, Koloff.
No, Barry was a little later. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Nikita took his spot kind of in matches afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't really work out that well for Nikita though, because he didn't have the work rate.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's just probably one of the there's a few others obviously who died really young, but that could have been a what if.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my backup was another guy that died too young too, and I'll discuss that when we're done. But all right, so now I think it's the first time we left an entire category open. It's not very good. It's not very good strategy, fellas.
This one, I'm kind of like I'm as much as I watch it, I'm still like I'm racking my brain on this of like who was in that.
Well, and the titles change so much these days in the last 20
with 2
years.
shows, 2 champions,
right.
It's just
well, now it's 3 if you count AEW too.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to think of like some of these guys who never did. It's just like I'm like drawing a blank almost on some of this. One I thought of that he did. Shit. Yeah, I didn't really. I figured this one would be the easier one for me since I still watch it. One who I guess, God, I think all right. Talent was wasted. Is he was a tag team in WWE, and then he was singles over there in AEW. But I think Talent was wasted again. Died too young as Brody Lee.
It's a good one.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
I think that when he got to AEW, people realized how good he was.
I mean, this even if you watch some of the stuff in WWE, I think early on, what he could do, it's just again he got handcuffed by put in their little box or Vince's little box of what he wanted it, and what he wanted a guy that size to do, and it just handcuffed him and limited him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good pick. That's really good.
The Exalted one.
But yeah, I mean, I was racking my brain. It's just, But no, I think he just was again handcuffed, and I mean, he was good with the Wyatt family, but I think just on his own, they gave him the IC title run, right, or a short term. Maybe?
Yeah, he had the TNT title. He was one of the first TNT champions.
He beat Cody for it, right? Did he kind of
Cody beat him back for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he squashed him, and then Cody beat him in a was it like a chain match or a dog collar? Yeah.
Right, I think he had maybe a short IC run, but like I said, again, just you never know what could have been. But just a guy who I think had that potential, but just was handcuffed by Vince.
100%. That's a good one, man. He athleticism off the fucking charts for a guy is what he was like 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah.
Big dude.
Oh, yeah.
It's very similar, honestly. Like if you look at his body work, very similar to Bruiser Brody.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Very similar style, very similar build. One of us better pick the Curry, man. I fucking love Christopher Daniels. I saw him wrestle when I was 19, and I think he was like probably 20. At a steel mill in Elk Grove.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Cole Cabana was on the show too, and he was like 20.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. All right, Dougie, what do you got?
All right. I've got to close us out with one of my favorite workers over the last probably decade, Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn. Yeah. How they haven't put a championship on him is beyond me.
I don't think they're done with him yet. So
No, I don't think that they're done with him yet, but it's just one of those deals to where it's like, how his body's going to have to last to make a run.
Yeah,
and and it sucks because now that they've waited this long, I don't know what he's got left in his body, and now it's going to start becoming way too much Daniel Bryan-esque. So
yeah. You're absolutely right. I did not expect one of you guys to pick him, and he was going to be my modern era. So I got to go with my backup plan.
Okay.
Oh, come on, Pete! Come on, Peter! He was on my list too, motherfucker.
Dude, he's right there.
You fucker!
He's
no, I wasn't gonna take him.
I swear he's number 2, but I gotta take number 1. I swear, Peter. I'll text you a picture of my list. All right, so to close it out, modern era. There was another worker, just as great as Dirty Dom is, but this dude was a belt collector. He started in the Monday Night War era and transitioned to the modern era, where unfortunately he had to retire due to some injuries. But this dude, for me, started out in ECW when I first saw him. And then obviously went on to WCW and collected belts there too, and went to WWE after.
Before you make this pick, I just want you to know, Joey, that I love you.
Okay, awesome. Because I'm going to let you know, as he would say, if I can be serious for a moment.
From Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Lance Storm. That dude was phenomenal. I mean, like, coming up in the dungeon, you're like, okay, yeah, it's going to be another Hart brother or, somebody else. When he came out, he was doing crazy stuff on top of all the technical stuff. Mm-hmm. When he became, mainstream in ECW. So,
but do you know why? It's him and Jericho went to Mexico forever. Mm-hmm. And that's where they learned all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, just master of his craft, man. Like I could listen to Lance Storm talk about wrestling forever.
Yeah.
Like I wish he did more content. I wish he did a podcast more. Like I wish he did the rounds a little more, because he is a tremendously smart person as well as unbelievable in the ring. Unbelievable. Another guy like Owen Hart. He could do anything.
Right. And he just collected belts everywhere he went.
Yeah,
my favorite was the WCW
stuff was great. Yeah. He changed the United States Championship to the Canadian Championship. Then he changed the Television Championship to the Canadian Television Championship. And then he won the Extreme Championship and changed it to the Canadian Extreme Championship. Fucking loved him, man.
Made everyone sing their national anthem before every match.
And his finish was just a simple single leg crab.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, this hell of a super kick. You're right, Yump. Good pick, man.
Thank you, guys.
So I only had 3 guys on my list for modern era. I had Sami Zayn. Mm-hmm. I had Lance Storm. Mm-hmm. and I have Shelton motherfucking Benjamin.
Yeah, another great one.
Shelton Benjamin, he is still going. How old is that guy now? He's got to be 50s, right?
Yeah.
40s. He's
Yeah.
like late 40s. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's still doing backflips off the fucking roll. Like he is. I will never forget that match with Shawn Michaels
on
when he
Monday
did
Night
like
Raw.
he did like that
Super
slingshot and then Shawn Michaels kicked him in the face.
Yeah.
So fucking good, so good.
I
And
think
then
when
they brought his mama around. Like shit
Yeah.
was great, man.
But I think him and Haas were always good as world's greatest tag team. But the first was it Money in the Bank match or whatever when he was in that first like ladder at WrestleMania. It was
that match made
it was
him.
like,
Yeah.
like another level to him. It was like holy shit! Like this
Mhm.
guy, like it was like wow, yeah.
Yeah, and just think
Shit he was
like
doing last
the booking possibilities too. Like he could have gone to TNA and had a run with Angle. Could you imagine that?
Yeah.
He could have had a run with his college teammate Brock fucking Lesnar.
Yeah,
Why didn't that happen? Brock would have gladly said, "Give this guy the title." Brock, I guarantee you, the way Brock talks about Shelton Benjamin, they're like brothers.
Right.
Did that one interaction was it really in the Royal Rumble that one year?
Yeah.
When Brock started throwing everybody up. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. There's so much there's so much we missed. Like not that we missed it, but like there's so much, like especially those middle two categories. Let's go down the line. Oh, you know what? Actually, I have a list. I didn't queue it up, so I'm just gonna read it. It was from our guy Sean. He sent this to me before we had categories. So just give me 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, he had Jake Roberts, Roddy Piper, Ted DiBiase. I was kind of surprised we didn't take Ted. I almost took him over the Junkyard Dog, but he's such a fucking douchebag. I don't want him.
Yeah, he was on my list.
Arn Anderson was on Sean's list. Yep. So yeah, definitely. They dropped the ball. WCW dropped the ball when Flair came back from his run to WWF. That should have happened.
Yeah.
Flair Anderson should have happened at that point, and they dropped the ball because Arn was still going. He felt like he started to fall apart at that point, but
they had a brief run at a Clash of Champions, I remember, for the title. But I think that may have been.
But it was like a schmaz at the end, wasn't it? Like it wasn't like a real thing. Like I know Arn beat him, but it wasn't for a title or anything.
Yeah, like a grudge match.
And he put Dusty Rhodes on the list too. I don't think he knew that it was we're not just doing WWF stuff. So, but yeah, Dusty Rhodes was like the Junkyard Dog, man. That guy had the crowd in his hand when he was in the WWF. Even though they gave him that shitty ass gimmick.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, let's go down the line. Any pre-boom ones that we didn't mention, and in the chat, if you guys have any, please.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but like I think Larry Sabisco was one that I thought of.
Yep.
Bockwinkel was another one.
Jesse Ventura, good job, Phil.
Yep, I thought of him. Yep, he was on my mind earlier.
This is Phil. He's one of my oldest friends.
So yeah, Ventura.
How old is he?
He is. So Kevin, that's been on my pod a bunch of times. This is Phil's his brother-in-law. So
yeah.
Gorilla Monsoon.
Monsoon was on my list. Yeah.
Yeah, he was number 2 on my list.
I had David Von Erich on mine.
Maybe. Another one potential that could have been what he could have been. Did Kevin ever win it or no? Von Erich.
Kevin didn't. Kerry won NWA, but Kevin didn't. David was the one that they thought was going to be the superstar, though.
Yeah.
When David died, they were like, "Fuck it, let's give it to Kerry," because David was supposed to beat Flair for it.
Yeah.
And again, another one tragedy. He was like 20. Fuck, man, he was like 27, something like that. He was 6. He was like 6'8". He was a freaking monster. Another guy he was like Bruiser Brody and Brody Lee. He was like 6'8", super agile, super athletic. guy, his promos were awesome. So, yeah, he would have been a superstar in the early mid '80s.
But yeah, like those are the ones I think I just saw, and I remember watching this as a kid. That so people are putting it back on around New Year's Eve, New Year's Day of a 60-minute match between Hennig and Nick Bockwinkel that was on ESPN for the AWA title that went at the hour time limit. I remember watching that.
Didn't Hennig beat him with a punch?
No, it ended up being the time because.
Oh, okay. Hennig beat him for the belt, though.
Yeah, later, not that one he didn't, but like I just remember Hennig being busted open, and then like the last 3 minutes, he just is giving him the Larry the Axe move, but then had busted Bockwinkel open, then had him in a figure four for like the last 2 minutes, and he wouldn't give up. So it ended up being a draw.
There were a lot of guys in the AWA that could have made it elsewhere too. But the era, like Ray Stevens, I mentioned. Ray Stevens was unbelievable in the ring. That guy ran circles around everybody. And he worked with the WWF a little bit here, a little bit there. Like those guys kept like floating back and forth. They do like house shows and shit, but never really went anywhere with it.
Was Colonel
no one
DeVere...
selected Rock and Roll Buck? Do you know Buck Zumhoff is in prison right now? Phil?
We're not going to talk about Buck Zumhoff.
Look up why. It's kind of scary. Phil, I think Phil. Hey, Phil, weren't you at the one at Comiskey Park, the Wrestle Clash? I'm pretty sure he was. Yeah, and then there's guys in the WWF that wrestled in the late 70s, early 80s, and then into the cartoon era, like Tito Santana, George the Animal Steele, Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Yeah.
Paul Orndorff.
Okay. Paul Orndorff, yeah. Jesse Ventura, Adrian Adonis, Bob Orton, Don Morocco, Jimmy Snuka.
Yeah.
He was like
those are all guys that were kind of in both eras. Yeah.
He was insane.
We won't spend too much time on Jimmy Snuka. But...
Well, he got no time, so
he just loved her.
Yeah.
Fucking
a little too hard.
You can't even read. Jimmy, he was dumb as shit.
Oh man! All right. So yeah,
a lot of them came through there that Hogan went against. Bundy, Stud. Any of those monsters they threw, One Man Gang, Bam Bam, all those guys they threw up against Hogan. Shit, Boss Man could have been. This is as big an actor as he was. You already mentioned $1 Million Man had just a great gimmick. Unless you count his title run though that he had for the short time.
What about Dino Bravo?
Yeah.
He likes smoking cigarettes.
One we didn't mention. Somebody drafted the Dynamite Kid. Nobody drafted the British Bulldog.
British Bulldog.
Yeah, I think there were a couple instances where he probably was headed towards that title, but it didn't materialize. Like I think he was supposed to beat Shawn Michaels for it.
Yeah.
I also think he was supposed to beat Vader for it, but they pulled off on it.
Yeah.
During the Bill Watts era.
Kind of in that era, little Ron Simmons.
He won
Ron Simmons WCW world title.
Oh shit!
Beat Vader for it.
Yep, and then Luger took it from him.
Miss.
What about Brian Pillman?
Brian Pillman.
And then you could look at all the guys in ECW. You could do Shane Douglas, Raven,
Dreamer. Dreamer wasn't that great, but I mean
Dreamer, Sabu.
Sandman.
I was gonna say RVD, but no. Chris Candido was fucking great, man.
So I always said if he was about 5 inches taller, he'd have been a superstar. If he was just a little bit bigger. Haku, yeah. He's fucking badass, real black badass.
Why are we chanting for the final boss? Giant Gonzalez should have fucking won. but as Elegante.
Yeah.
Well, you could put him, I guess, in 3 eras. Rick Martel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't remember that Rick Martel wrestled like the early 70s, like into the 80s.
He was an AWA
champ at one point, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I remember when he got to the WWF and they started the Can-Am connection. Tom Zenk had a fit because Martel made more money than he did. Vince was like, Martel was a world champion. What are you talking about? That's when they started Strike Force because Tom Zenk was a psycho.
Who thought higher of themselves, Tom Zenk or Paul Roma?
Paul Roma.
Paul Roma. Him and Hercules, Power and Glory.
You know who was a dickhead but would have been a good world champion, I think, was Jacques Rougeau.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the Rougeaus. I'm sorry. Guilty
Knocked
pleasure.
fucking
Yeah.
Dynamite Kid's teeth out.
Yep.
Greatest theme song of all time, probably.
American, what was that? The All American Boy?
Jimmy Hart. Yeah.
Yeah.
All American boy. Yeah, Jimmy Hart wrote it.
So annoying, but so
Their
catchy.
little American flags.
Earthquake was a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, even like Tully Blanchard, that guy was great.
Yeah. Tully was on my list. He was in my top 5.
Pre-boom one, I forgot. Jerry Lawler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even I mean, that guy's still wrestling
You
somehow.
needed to get looking at Phil's comments. You needed to get Phil on one of these, Ryan.
Yeah.
One of these wrestling ones.
From Montreal to Memphis.
Was there any like tag teams like if we're just but like I'm trying to think of like any of those other guys who like there's those Watts guys like those Mid-South and all those are Crockett that never really they were huge there, but like you look at guys that just get shit on like Terry Taylor.
Bobby
Like,
Eaton.
Yeah.
Terry Taylor in the ring was unbelievable, but he was so boring and he had that like I talk like this, they're like, oh, this ain't gonna work.
You ever see and I just saw it not that long ago, but it was like a Brother Love or Bobby Heenan was just like basically running him down. Like you're not the biggest. He's like, well, I'm not that big, but you're not, this guy big. The work. He's like, well, you're not this guy's work. It was just like shitting all over him, like right in front of him.
Damn.
Yikes.
Rough scene.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Oh, get no respect.
What do you all think about William Regal though in the Attitude Era?
I was just gonna say that one too. Yeah,
He was
Even before the Attitude Era, that early '90s WCW. Yeah, unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
3 minutes away from saying Marty Jannetty. Marty Jannetty should have been a world champion. B.
about
Brian Blair, world champion.
Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
He did not, Phil. Yeah, Brutus Beefcake should have been. No.
We've been
But
talking
more
about
like-
we've been having a lot of references to death and murder in this show.
Very dark episode.
But
Very nice, very evil.
how many guys did Hogan block in that 9-year run from being champ? Though there could have been.
A lot.
They probably should have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least in WCW, he understood that, like, as a heel, he has to lose every once in a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they were trying to build pay-per-view, so they had him lose to Luger on Monday Nitro. I mean, he won the title back, but like at least he had the foresight to say, like, okay, fuck it, like I got to give someone else a little rub so I can get it back.
But it was just back then. It was more about it's even now still like you look at Cody. What's more exciting? Was it Cody chasing the title or Cody as the champ?
I have not enjoyed this year of Cody as the champ.
So like I said, it was more interesting.
I don't have any
watching
problems with
Chase.
Cody Rhodes, but yeah, I don't. They didn't do much with it.
I mean, Owens is more of a star. I think that feud. That I love Kevin Owens. That guy should just be.
Yep.
Everything his promos, everything is just so good.
When he didn't go to AEW, I got very upset. I thought that was definitely happening because he sounded like he was getting frustrated there.
Yeah.
All right. Any modern guys we want to discuss?
Dom, Dirty Dom, the greatest heel. Oh my God, I can't wait for this kid to win a title. It's coming.
This is gonna happen.
You think he's gonna be a world champion? It's gonna be something weird like a Money in the Bank thing.
As long as it's not a David Arquette type thing.
Yeah.
They should. Him walking around with that briefcase for like a year
That would be
would
awesome.
just be gold.
Yeah.
He gets
That would be
he gets
great.
such a reaction. It's like, okay, this is money. Money is reaction in this business, right? So that's why they got to strike. They fumbled so many times. Like, I'm sorry, I would have let Sami Zayn fulfill the bloodline story by him be the one to break Roman's streak, for example. Sorry, Roman could have won it back, and who cares? And then Cody fulfilled his dream still by beating Roman. I wouldn't mind that.
Well, when you consider how long Roman was the champion, I think that like a certain amount of prestige in dethroning him.
You couldn't have a transitional champ.
Yeah, that's that. I would have liked it either way, honestly, but I don't know if he would have done Sami Zayn any favors to pull a Lex Luger on him, you know, or I mean, I would call it a Kofi Kingston on him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a problem the WWE has these days. Is they elevate. They're great at elevating these faces. They're great at building that backstory to elevate, and then after they win, they're like, "Okay, kid, like smack him on the ass. Like it's your turn. Like go ahead." Like they did that with Daniel Bryan a couple of times. You know.
Yeah. One guy that I had on my modern list that I feel like was a victim of that. He was a victim of John Cena. And I'm gonna say this, Umaga. I think Umaga could have been a really good heel champion. And
am I crazy, or did he never won?
I don't think he won.
No, he didn't.
Okay.
I thought about him in the card today too.
Because he kept on like
Absolutely.
that Cena, that whole Cena squash era, and it was, I shouldn't say squash era, but it was just that whole.
It kind of is. I mean, they treated him like Hogan. It's not his fault. Right. That's what they wanted.
No, I know it's not his fault, but it's like, that sucks, man. I mean, like you had some really good heels in there that, really could have popped, and I think could have elevated Cena a little bit more. Have him win dirty. Like. Just not giving it up at all was just brutal.
Well, and it's funny, like the two times that he did cleanly lose, they had to do it with the fans kicking and screaming. CM Punk and RVD.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, when fans show up with a sign that says if Cena wins, we riot in that area.
Well, they did it in Chicago. That was like, come on.
Yeah, no. That one I don't give a shit about.
Yeah.
And the RVD one, that group of people are crazy enough to do that. I mean, those ECW crowds were something special.
Mm-hmm.
Another
special,
one that,
crazy.
That Yumper just mentioned, that Rusev was another one that should have been a champ.
Yeah. 100%. And then Nakamura, he's right here too. Nakamura definitely should have gotten it. You know who got lost in the Cena shuffle too was Wade Barrett.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was a perfect heel. Mm-hmm. He could have done whatever he wanted.
I had a Mr. Kennedy on the list. I absolutely loved his shtick.
He was supposed to. Who was he supposed to beat? He was supposed to beat the Undertaker. I can't remember. He was supposed to beat someone for the title, and it didn't. They just pulled it.
Yeah, he also got
he did something.
He did. Was that right when he hurt? When Orton came back and he the way he suplexed him or dropped him or something, then he got fired pretty much right after that.
Yeah. I saw him at an indie in Kenosha like 7 or 8 years ago, and he's still like really good presence. Yeah, he was supposed. Yep, he was supposed to be Vince's son, and then they did Hornswoggle instead.
But the heat he could get just at the Allstate coming out when he does his stick from Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember it was a pay-per-view we were at, and I think it was the Packers beat the Bears that day when he came out to the Green Bay, Wisconsin. Everybody boos. He's like 5-0, baby. So he could get heat there. But no, he was great. Met him at a TNA show in Rockford.
They then he started a wrestling school and stole everybody's money, but the story for another time. I think he ended up having to give everybody their money back because the school never opened. He just kept their money for like 6 months.
That's a hell of a gimmick.
Undertaker talking about Buzz Sawyer doing that shit to him.
Oof. So are they
Buzz Sawyer, man?
Are there any like new guys now, either AEW or WWE for that matter, that you think are going to be next in line after? And obviously, Cody's not going anywhere anytime soon, so it would have to be something next 5 years, long-term planning.
I think
They've got guys coming in, but like
There's
Penta
a few of them
is coming in.
I think Andrade could.
Mm-hmm.
I think Carmelo Hayes has it in him to do something. I think just a work rate.
I mean, Braun Breaker, obviously.
Braun's going to be a champ for the next 5 years.
Chad Gable
should have been one.
Do it.
You know who still hasn't won a world championship yet? Well, I guess you can. Christian.
He won. He won it. Yeah, he had the title. Yeah, he had the title, and he beat Del Rio. When Edge had to give it up, and then
right, because Edge had to give the title away. Okay, yeah.
Del Rio got it, and Christian beat him for it.
Yeah. One guy that works his ass off that I would love to see is Cesaro.
Yeah, I had him on my list.
Absolutely,
he's one of them.
Who shouldn't? Wheeler Yuta. That guy is trash.
He's not trash. He's fine.
Dude, he's garbage.
Funny.
Man has no business in that group he's in. None.
Well, what about Adam Cole or Jay White, though? Are they finally either one of them going to do anything in AEW?
I can see Jay White before Cole.
Cole
never should have left.
Jay White got destroyed by MJF. Those promos did him no favors whatsoever. Like you
can't put
you just keep feeding people that are inconsequential to MJF because he's just gonna fucking destroy everybody. Like that's
problem with MJF. I know we're getting off subject here, but problem with MJF is it's the same shit over and over. Change it. Like, don't make him every time he's got a feud. He's got to go. Okay, this guy's got to go through this guy and then this guy and then this to get to MJF. It's just, I don't know. To me, I like MJF, but I think that gimmick of it of having to do the MJF challenge or whatever he's got to go through to get to him. Still, it just gets old to me.
Yep, I agree.
Any thoughts on Jacob Fatu on the other aisle?
Awesome,
incredible talent.
That's a problem.
I think he's got a 10-cent head though, so we'll see. We'll see. He needs a mouthpiece.
Mm-hmm. You don't like the "I love you" Solo?
Solo. I feel bad for Solo because they tried to give him way too much, way too quickly, and it backfired. Yeah. And now he's just buried after last night. Just like all that whole group, I think, except for Jacob, is buried.
I like Tama. I don't like the what's his name, the other one, the Camacho or Tongaloa.
Camacho.
That's what he was before, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but no, I think you get Tama over as a face. I think you could get him over. Fatu needs to stay. Jacob Fatu needs to stay a heel.
There's too many fucking Samoa. No, I'm kidding.
It's just WWE is a logjam, and obviously AEW is too. But they have to do something, because if not, what incentivizes me besides making tons of money, right, to work for either one of those companies?
It's all about money.
Yeah, it's all about money, because you're never going to be. You're going to be on the next list 5 years from now. When we do this draft again in 5 years.
Is there
number one pick will be Big Trouble Ben Bishop. Look him up if you don't know who he is.
That guy's self-promotion is gold.
So I've met him. He's a very nice guy. I've talked to him on Twitter a bunch of times. I've talked to him at a couple shows. And my friend Sarah, who's like a huge Ben Bishop fan, was having a baby. So I sent him a message on Twitter. I'm like, dude, can you send me a logo so I can make a onesie for the baby? And within like a minute, he had sent me like 3 of them. Like he's a totally nice dude, and he is legitimately 7 feet tall. He's a frighteningly huge human being.
Yeah. And then you told him it wasn't for a onesie; it was actually for you.
Yeah.
Still a onesie though.
No, it is a onesie. Yeah.
Is there Is there a women's wrestler?
This is a very good one, by the way. Yumper.
Yeah.
Matt Cardona is a superstar, man.
Yeah.
Indie God. Deathmatch God.
Yeah.
What about a women's wrestler who hasn't won? You probably do modern era. I mean, you did do 2000s till now, but
Luna Vachon.
Yeah.
Who was that?
Mm-hmm.
Luna Vachon.
Yeah.
It's a very good one. Did Tori Wilson not win a title? I don't know who
they all like that. They passed that Diva title around. Like,
I mean, from ones that are active and current, Willow Nightingale comes to mind. There's a lot of them in AEW that
Julia win tonight?
She's not. She hasn't won the world. No, she won
did she win the NXT tonight?
CBS. What?
Julia?
No, I'm sorry. Julia did win tonight. Yeah.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
Yep. I think Sherry had that title back in the late.
Yeah, Sherry had it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Moolah used to blow her up in the ring.
And then Moolah took it back.
Back when the title was this big.
And then tried to sell Sherry again.
Jumping Bomb Angels.
Judy Martin of the Glamour Girls? What?
Leilani Kai?
Leilani Kai was fucking great, by the way.
You don't pay Moolah money, you get Wendy Richter and you get screwed out of the title. You don't get
Rockin' Robin.
Yeah.
Jake the Snake's sister. The spider lady?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
the
Moolah.
original screw job.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other women.
EO needs another run with it.
What's the biggest travesty that a tag team didn't win world titles? Is it the Rockers?
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Killer Bees?
Killer Bees could be in there. The New Foundation? No, wait, what was their name? What was the name?
High Energy?
Thank you. That's what I was saying. Yes.
Well, New Foundation was Owen and Anvil.
Yeah, but I was trying to think of High Energy. I couldn't think of it right then. Powers of Pain?
Yeah. That's a good one.
I mean,
LaRougeau's number one.
Yeah.
There were a lot of really good tag teams in the 80s that didn't get it. Barry O and Barry Horowitz.
Again, we circle back with Barry O to the ring boy stuff and the sexual harassment.
And the sexual harassment, which went on Dead Eyes from our Secretary of Education.
Comforting.
I mean, you had a really great tag team of Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero. That probably
Eddie Guerrero and who?
Snort. Inject.
It's okay. We can talk about this. We're talking about death and murder. This is the death and murder episode.
It's Dougie. It's not your fault.
No, it isn't.
So who would have been the bigger prick then? We're gonna go out of Jacques Rougeau and Dynamite.
Probably Jacques.
Jacques Rougeau.
Because Jacques had that like entitled, like nepo, like wrestling nepo baby thing going on. Because his dad.
He was great as a Mountie.
He was really, really, and the Quebecers were awesome.
PCO.
Yeah.
PCO.
I can't believe that guy is still wrestling.
I know.
Tyler Breeze and Fandango.
Yeah, Breezango.
Breezango's very good.
Yeah.
You know who they? I'm not saying he deserved the title, but the guy who had the momentum at the time, and they just shit all over it when on his Money in the Bank cash in. Actually, two of them was Baron Corbin and Sandow. Both the guys who
Baron
lost
Corbin.
their cash in.
Sandow, like I feel like Sandow never really had the heart for the business. Like he always wanted to do something else. From everything I've read.
I'm not saying he deserved it, but just the momentum they just got it just was killed when they lost their.
But he was such a comedy. It would be like giving it would be like giving R-Truth the world title. You know what I mean?
Damian Mizdow.
That shit was fucking gold.
Oh, yeah.
Like absolute gold.
Stuntman. He was the Miz's stuntman.
Yeah.
But the silly comedy gimmicks can just, can't really turn that into any momentum,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right. We got an hour and a half out of this shit again. It's always the wrestling ones where we end up talking for like 2 hours.
Yeah, we just keep blabbering.
Right?
Exactly.
I'm good with it.
It's good blabbering.
So what's the next one going to be? Promos? Gonna do promos?
I feel like I want to build up to promos.
Okay. All right. Well,
It's a
I mean,
slow
let's-
burn.
Well, here's the thing. I think we need to come up with a consensus, like fourth person. If you're gonna be
crash the plane.
if you're gonna be narrating this whole thing, yeah,
That's a good one, Phil.
yeah, jobbers.
Yeah.
Number 1, Iron Mike Sharp. Or
Steve
Phil-
Lombardi.
Or if you watch the early episodes of Raw, every single week there was a guy named Phil Apollo that would lose every single week. Oh man! All right, thanks guys. Bye. No, I'm kidding. Dougie, Joey, you got anything you want to plug? I know you guys have Friday, right?
Yeah, we got a watch party at the Ramova. It is free to come watch Blackhawks versus Red Wings. And then we have a $25 party pack, which includes beer for from puck drop all the way till an hour after the game for $25. You can't beat that. Free parking, and other than that, Monday nights Bumcast on the YouTube's 8:00.
Excellent. Well, all right, guys. Just a reminder to like and subscribe. Sadistic Penguin Studios. We're up over 700 subscribers now. So,
Nice.
moving on up. Friday we have at the show. We'll be back on with Tony and Yumper. I believe they're doing a deep dive into Shawshank Redemption. So
Ooh.
definitely gonna be watching that one. That's one of my favorite movies. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Next week I will be back. I'm going to be going back to doing every week now that holidays are over and everything. Next week I'm doing a different one where each of us, I'm going to have 3 people on with me. Each of us picks an actor, and that each actor is around, and we have to pick our favorite movies for that actor.
Oh, that's on the spot.
So we're doing that
No
next
pressure.
week. I have Sam Reeves is going to be on. My buddy Kevin is going to be on, and then we're gonna the 4th person to drop out. So I'm gonna find a 4th. But yeah, that's a fun one. We're gonna be doing that same premise, but with directors as well. In a few weeks. And then in 2 weeks we're gonna be doing Build a Band. So it's gonna be me, Roxy, Stress Freehorn, his name is Eric, and then Tony B will be on with a Sugar Bag. You'll be on with us, and we're gonna pick. Each round is going to be a different musician, so like lead singer, drummer, bass, guitar. So that's going to be really fun. We've been working on that one for a while, so really looking forward to that one. So those are the next 2 that are coming around the way. I have a couple more after that already scheduled and planned. So and then we're going to do another wrestling one as well. Sans You 3. That one is going to be start your own wrestling company, and you get to pick wrestlers to start your wrestling company with. So I'm working on that one right now as well. So, but thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Always fun. Let's get back to the chat and come up with the next one. And thanks everybody in the chat again. Like and subscribe to Sadistic Penguin Studios. Buy a Gordo shirt while we still have them up at our merch shop. We're actually shutting down. I want to make that announcement as well. We're actually shutting down our merch shop at the end of the month until probably baseball season starts back up, because really the only 2 shirts that sell are Gordo and I Hate It Here for the White Sox. So, but all right, guys. Thanks again. This has been episode 63. Have a great night.